you know, obviously when you're doing well like United does, you want to keep going and pick it up where you've left off.
Absolutely. Right, let's see if there's any comments on the Blasters. I saw one from Ray. What do you expect in your first season in India? Have you got expectations from the board? Have you been told what you're expected to do?
I have to say, I flew out in July for the player draft, the Indian player draft, which was a really good exercise to experience, to be prepared of.
Is that similar to the MLS style?
It is. It's slightly different because within the MLS, a lot of teams have their own players, and then it's more about college players, and you don't see many of them actually getting into the MLS. These are players basically all sort of within the ISL setup. Every club had a chance to retain 5 players, 3 senior, 2 younger ones.
Wait, so the whole like rosters kind of go into a hat. You pick the 5.
Exactly. So it was a really interesting, because I had to prepare myself and do my homework, because obviously I don't know as well the Indian League and the Indian players. So you really had to prepare yourself well. But we did that well, because obviously I've used the players, the people, the staff that was at the club, to making sure that they could sort of lay out a plan for me. Okay, what are the sort of best players in certain positions where we look for? Plus of my contacts that I had 3 good contacts that know the Indian League really well, so I could cross-reference it. So when it came back to me, I had a really fairly good idea. Then, you know, you all go into a different draws, and I think all the teams went actually in the draw from round 3. Before that, it was the 2 new clubs and the ones that haven't retained any players. And then you pick a letter, A to J, and we were the last one in the pick, so that meant that already 13 players in the draft were already selected before we could pick our first player. So you also need to start to anticipate.
Yeah, you need your first choice, second choice, third choice.
Yeah, exactly. You need to anticipate, what is this club probably going to go for? What's that player going to go for? You need to look at yourself, because you know you've got 7 to 8 foreigners that you're going to play in certain positions. So you need to sort of. But I think we came out really, really well. I'm very pleased with obviously the squad that we got.
And we've not mentioned it, you've brought Dimitar Berbatov and Wes Brown. That's some serious experience and talent that you bring into the league. Is there any more transfers you're bringing in?
Well, obviously we had to bring in 7, 8 foreigners, and we've filled 7 spots so far. So I've also brought Paul Rachupka, who's got
used to be the youth player at United.
With United. So because, like I said, with Wes and Paul, obviously they know each other, and good communication is important, you know, in the back line to get a solidity from the back. Obviously I've worked with Wes. Obviously Dimitar is basically a fantastic coup to making sure that he's wanted to join us, because...
Is he the best player in the league? Are you expecting that?
Well, he's top drawer, isn't it? I'm so glad he's playing for us, because I'm sure there was interest of other teams. But he was very clear. He says, I'd love to come and work with you again, and he's obviously doing a little bit more on the coaching side, which is good. So he's expanding, you know, his view into football and beyond, which will help, because he can then sort of also help. Because we need to be realistic, obviously, to making sure that we help the Indian players to improve. We brought in a left centre back, Serbian player, Pasic, really good prospect, 25 years of age. For me, a big surprise that he is actually not playing sort of in the championship, because I think that is definitely a level he could play at. We brought in some Ian Hume, that was already played there for 3 seasons, played for Kerala Blast in the first season, then moved to Calcutta, but now he's coming back. Knows the league, you know, gives us a lot of energy up front. Still, again, good experience. And then we want to fill the other place with some young players. So we brought in a young Ghanaian boy, very, very promising player, Courage Perkerson, very skillful, can be the man, can score goals. And a young and upcoming striker, Mark Sifnios. He's got a Dutch-Greek background, and I sort of know him, you know, from my contacts. And again, you know, so we've got a good mix of experience, and a good mix of some younger players.
From what I've seen, Corral is one of the best supported clubs out there, with an absolutely mental fan base. Expecting packed houses every single week? Yes.
I mean, it's one of the things, was one of the big draws for me, because people that obviously play there and been there and seen it. And I've also spoke to Aaron Hughes that I worked with at Fulham, and he played there last year, and he says, Ren, you've experienced a lot of things in Old Trafford, 76,000, and fantastic, you know, experiences, but this is going to be something different and something special. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Awesome. I think that was it in terms of the questions that we had. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Any more questions from you guys? I think we're going to wrap it up. So thank you very much to Rene for joining us. Thanks to you guys at home. Wish you all a luck in India with Kerala, and we're definitely going to check you out because we've got a massive United connection.
Absolutely.
Kerala, everyone's little favourite B team now over in India. I think as United fans, I think we owe it to them to go and give them our support. We are going for 500k this season.